birthday's on Valentine's Day, so even on my fucking birthday, I'm buying some bitch dinner. If I meet a nice girl and I'm in a restaurant and the check comes and I put the credit card down and she's a nice girl, she'll do the purse grab. And if I go, no, it's okay, she's very quick to give up on that argument. Other arguments she can keep going for fucking years. But that one she's ever so gracious about. This is why I think I'd like to be gay. I think gay would be a good move for me. I wouldn't enjoy the sex, I'd have to get through the sex. I would have a cock in my mouth with tears streaming down my face. And as the jizz hit the back of my throat, I'd be thinking of my happy place, but it'd be worthwhile just so I could split the occasional bill. That's why gay guys are happy, and that's why lesbians are fucking miserable. Lesbians are fucking miserable people because they have to hang out with women all day. It must be fucking horrible. They must just be sitting there at dinner going, I'm not going to pay for this, bitch. I've just worn my best plaid shirt and shaved my head. She better treat me like a princess. Now, if there's any lesbians in the room, and I assume there's not because laughter's not your thing. But if there is, I'd like to apologise for that last joke. But if you hate men so much, stop trying to look like them. You never see a Jew dressed as a Nazi. I did a joke in America. I said lesbians have no sense of humour and they're not fun or whatever. And these two lesbians stood up and stormed out of the room as if to prove my point. They're just not fun people. Gay guys are fun. I don't care how homophobic you are. If you're holding a dinner party and a gay guy shows up, you get a little bit excited, don't you? You're like, oh, fucking a gay guy. Oh, strap yourself in, love. Hey, I've got a live one, right? But if you're holding a dinner party and a lesbian shows up, you're just like, ah, oh, fuck me. All I wanted to do was relax and play Pictionary. She's drawing something political. You can't even point lesbians out, and they're so fucking obvious. They're so obvious, but you can't point them out. If you saw, like, fucking, if I see, like two lesbians in the audience and go, excuse me, are you lesbians? They'll be like, what the fuck, what? What do you mean by that? Right? But if I see two gay guys in the audience and go, excuse me, are you gay guys? They'll go, guilty, because gay guys fucking love being gay. The word gay comes from happy. They like fucking men in the ass so much, they've called it happy. I have been a heterosexual my whole life. I would not call the experience happy. I would call it a struggle at best. I'll tell you another reason why it must be awesome to be a gay guy. It must be wonderful to be in a relationship where if your partner's being a dickhead, you can punch him in the head. Hasn't that got to give your relationship a whole new dimension? I can't tell you the amount of arguments I've had with women that could have been sorted out quicker with a punch. And while we're on the subject of domestic violence, it's a horrible thing, of course it is. Now, you ever met a woman who's like been married like 4 times and she's like, I guess I just choose the wrong type of men. I've been married 4 times and all my husbands beat me. And you're like, all of them. All 4. 1, 2, 3, fucking 4. They all beat you. Someone doesn't know when to shut the fuck up now, do they? Because I'm a tolerant man. I'll give anyone 3, but 4, you're a fucking button pusher. That's a nice cheery way to start the show. I do a lot of gigs. Well, not a lot. I do some gigs out in Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff like that. Which, if I was in an American crowd right now, they'd go, ooh, yeah. But I'm not, so I can be honest with you, I do it for money. The first time, over there, it's like I'm king of it. The first time I go to a gig in Iraq, they find me and my manager in a passenger plane into Kuwait. Now, it turns out that Kuwait is a regular country that anyone can visit. Then, a military truck gets me and my manager and drives us over the border into Iraq and drops us off. And we're standing in the middle of the desert of a war-torn country. We can't see anything on the horizon. And I turn to my manager and go, good booking, fuckface. And then this helicopter comes in over the horizon and lands in front of us. And the planes are still going. And this soldier runs off and goes, excuse me, are you Jim Jefferies? And I went, what other white cunt were you looking for in the desert at this exact location? Then he hands me my bulletproof vest and my helmet. He's obviously wearing his bulletproof vest and his helmet. His are camouflaged. Mine, fucking blue. And I said, why do I have a blue vest and helmet? He said, that's so the enemy know you're a civilian. I'm like, does the enemy give a shit? That's my main concern, because I've never been a sniper. But every time I got off the helicopter, I was surrounded by soldiers protecting me. If I was a sniper, I'd be like, the cunt in blue looks important. Right? So, we got in this helicopter. And we're sitting in this chopper. That's what we call them in the biz. Chopper. And I'm sitting here, and I've got two soldiers sitting next to me there. My manager, Brett's sitting there. He's got two soldiers sitting next to him. There's two soldiers in the cockpit. There's a great big door open next to me there. And there's another door open there. And at that door, there's a soldier with a great big gun on a hinge with bullets coming out of it like that thing that Chewbacca wears. And we take off, and off we go to Baghdad. And as we hit the border of the city, I hear a great big bang! And these two small flares shoot out from the small wings of the helicopter, followed by a trail of smoke. And then the helicopter goes... Now, the reason they do this is when they get over the danger area, if there's a heat-seeking missile, it'll be distracted by the flares, and then the helicopter will fly out of range. Very clever. Now, they never told me this was happening. As far as I'm concerned, the wings have just exploded. And we're now plummeting to our death. And it's nice to know how you react under pressure. Because I reacted thusly by vomiting over my lovely blue vest, ironically making it more camouflage than it was before. And yelling out, we're going down! The two pilots, the soldiers, the gunner, they all start pissing themselves laughing. They're reaching through, they're high-fiving each other. It turns out they've been waiting for this joke for months. I'm cleaning vomit off myself going, oh, you guys are good one. Thank you for defending my freedom. Right? So I sit back down covered in vomit in the helicopter. And so I'm trying to look out the door to try to unqueeze myself. And I'm looking out over the ground over Baghdad. By the way, Baghdad, beautiful city, untouched. And I look out on the ground, and I see a little Arab fella with a handgun shooting up at a helicopter. Just, once again, a freak out. We're being fired on! The gunner now is laughing so fucking hard. He's laughing even harder than he's before. He's laughing so hard he's killed over. The gun's just dangling out in a hinge. And I'm like, what's your fucking problem, man? And he's like, Jim, you're going to have to calm down, mate. We're in a military helicopter with a bulletproof bottom. That's a handgun. We're so high up the bullets can't even reach us. They just sort of go... And then I jokingly said, I bet our bullets can reach him. And he went, oh, yeah. And the little cunt died. And I was like... I was just saying, mate. I was just saying. I didn't want to ruin anyone's day. Isn't that a fun story about a man dying? It's funny, though. My limited time in a war zone, I really, I didn't see what all the bad stuff was. They were very nice to me. But this war's kind of crazy to me because I don't know historically how we're going to talk about it. See, like my grandfather, he fought during the Second World War. For the Japs, weirdly enough. No, for the Australians. He killed a lot of Japanese. Hated them till he died. Love the food, hate the people, he used to say. What a complex man. And I used to love listening, when I was a kid, listening to him tell stories about killing Nazis. There was always something exciting about it, I just don't know what I would tell my grandson about what's happened in history now. I imagine I'll be 80 years old. I'll be sitting in my chair, and my grandson will be out on the floor looking up at me adoringly, and I'll go, now, there used to be these people called Arabs, and they lived in the Middle East, or as you call it, the radiation zone. In 2020, President Macaulay Culkin got really upset with the Arabs and he nuked them all. But what Macaulay Culkin and the rest of the Americans hadn't realised was that China had slowly but surely become the superpower of the world. So while the Americans were nuking the Arabs, the Chinese nuked the Americans. And that's why we have no Americans and no Arabs. And then my grandson will look up at me and go, Mashibawa. You know what I like about that joke? It has the